every several years, the fire organizations throughout the United States get certified to a certain standard. It's commonly called the ISO standard, which means Insurance Services Office, and it gives you an ISO rating. About 10 years ago, Montgomery was rated, and Montgomery's rating at that time was number 2. And we have talked a lot about the fact that there are a few other cities in the state that are ISO 2, but we are the only big city of the 5 that we count in the category that have ISO 2. The majority of them are ISO 3. The surrounding cities are ISO 3, and if you're a volunteer fire department, you may be 6, you may be 7. For the last 6 months, the rating agency has been in Montgomery, and they are looking at the process where fire organizations handle fire situations in Montgomery. It starts with our communications organization because they're the ones that receive the 911 call. From there, they go to the fire department and look at training, equipment, manpower, locations of stations, geographical coverage. And then they also go to the waterworks and look at fire hydrants and maintenance and flows and capacity and pressure and all of those things, and they add up to a maximum of 105 points. We have, for the last several years, been 2 with a rating of about 86. You have to be above a 90 to be an ISO 1. There is no ISO 1 rating in the state of Alabama. There has never been an ISO rating of 1 in the state of Alabama. There are about 300 to 3,500 organizations nationally that this ISO standard is rated. 2% of those organizations out there, the 3,000 to 3,500, are rated ISO 1. Somewhere between 60 and 70 organizations. We're here today to announce and to congratulate those 3 organizations that Montgomery, Alabama, as of today, has an ISO rating of 1, the highest in the state and the first ever in the history of Alabama cities. I think that deserves a round of applause. As with most of the departments in public safety, and frankly all of our departments throughout the city, they always look to a challenge. Set that goal and work towards that goal. When I became mayor 5.5, 6 years ago, and I was wandering around and trying to understand fire service, we first started talking about this combat challenge that we have been very successful with, having achieved the world championship, having achieved twice the world record, and we now hold the world record in the relay. That was a goal that Chief Milford Jordan set for his organization and adopted by the entire command staff and all of the fire personnel. The other one was this thing that's called ISO. And he told me that we were 2, and we'd been 2 for a while, and I simply asked the question, well, what does it take to get to be number 1? Well, obviously it takes equipment, it takes training, it takes locations, it takes the communications, it takes the water side of the equation. And so Chief Jordan started the mission of trying to get to an ISO that would distinguish us from all the rest. And we'll talk about what that really means through the chamber, who represents business, through a homeowners organization, through a development company, that what it means in dollars and cents. But new purchases of equipment, opening new fire stations here, getting EMS, beefing up our communications organization, working with our water and sewer board to get the elements in place to be able to do that. It's dependent upon all of that. And so to talk a bit about what it means for business and to put some specificity to this, and if he doesn't do anything in a very specific way, I will tell you in dollars and cents what that actually means. Randy George is the president of our Chamber of Commerce. He has a big meeting tonight. He's getting a new boss as of tonight, but he represents business and does a wonderful job. Randy, we appreciate you being here to add your welcome and congratulations.
My pleasure, Mayor. You know, it's and Chief Jordan, wherever you are, sir, I've lost you. Oh, there you are. I'm sorry. It's absolutely incredible when you went out west and you won the world combat firefighter challenge. You know, I mean, I thought, man, that is awesome. You're number one. You are number one. But this is number one in public safety. It's number one in rates that apply to insurance. I mean, this is a huge thing. And as the mayor said, no one in the state of Alabama has ever achieved this rating. And this fire department, and obviously it takes a team like everything does with a great water and sewer board and a great communications department to make all this work. It's just amazing. This is going to affect our ability to attract new industry and new business to Montgomery, and we're excited about that. But most of all, the Chamber is proud of the dedicated professionals that are in this business. We applaud you for that, for the hard work that you put forth and the dedication that you provide to the citizens of our region. We're very grateful for everything, and it's a signal honor that everyone in this community is proud of, and we are very grateful for all of your effort. Mr. Mayor, I don't have the detailed numbers yet, but
well, let's let Jimmy Rutland. Jimmy Rutland is president of Louder. Yeah, I was thinking. I didn't want to make that mistake. Rutland is president of Louder New Homes, and certainly a fire rating for residential is meaningful as well as on the commercial side. So, Jimmy, if you would bring a word.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. Chief, congratulations on behalf of the Greater Montgomery Home Builders Association. You know, American dream is the biggest part of it is home ownership, and part of that is obviously being a homeowner. You want that feeling of security that you live in a community that's going to provide excellent fire and safety, and through this rating, it's just affirmation that we have that in Montgomery, Alabama. So thank you on behalf of homeowners. As far as a home builder, and going back to that American dream of home ownership, affordability is a huge part of that. And I think that's what the mayor is alluding to when he said this will help residents of Montgomery in their quest for the American dream through affordability by lower insurance rates. So we just wanted to come out tonight or this afternoon and say thank you. Congratulations. We appreciate all the hard work from the fire department.
Thanks. Appreciate it, Jimmy. Actually, if you talk to any of the insurance agents around, which I did, two different ones, talk to the insurance department, to quantify the savings between a 3, which most of the other cities are, and 1, it's about 5%. In other words, you can have 5% lower premiums on your insurance. Now, a house at $500,000, that's one thing, but take a business, take a Hyundai, for instance, that's $1 billion investment, or take any of these other major manufacturings that are 15 and 20 and 30 and $50 million. That begins then to add up, and it is that degree of difference in the economic development realm to be able to attract businesses here to someplace else that might not have an ISO rating of 1 or even 2. Now, Bifford Jordan is our chief. Bifford Jordan is going to come now and talk a bit about this accomplishment, but I will tell you right now, he will talk about those men and women that are right in front of us right now. All he did was set the vision. All he did was set the goal. All he did was arm wrestle with the finance director and the mayor about getting the dollars and cents necessary to be able to accomplish this. Milford, I know that you are a proud fire chief. We're proud of you. Congratulations, and please come accept our gratitude and our thanks for a job well done.
Well, the mayor said it all. Hey, I am very proud to be a part of this wonderful organization. And like the mayor said, it's not me. I am at the top and make some final decision, but it's the 450 personnel that make this happen. I mean, from our training division, our suppression division, and one of the areas that we don't recognize and talk about is our clerical. We have about 8 clericals. And one of the things in this rating is about documentation, good record keeping. And these ladies and gentlemen do an outstanding job of keeping good records. And that's one of the things that got us to this point is good record keeping. But it's not all me at all. It's about the personnel that makes up this department. One thing for sure, we will keep on getting better each and every day and maintain this classification, and we're going to provide the best services to our citizens that we possibly can. And we will definitely do that. I also like to thank Mr. Larry Fisher, Communication Department, Melissa Chandler.
Goodbye.
There again, they're on the job. Mr. Buddy Morgan, Mr. Richard Hannon, the Waterworks, they play a major part in this classification. And I'd like to thank them for their work and continuous work that we can maintain a 1 in the city of Montgomery. And last but not least at all, our Public Safety Director, Chris Murphy. Director Murphy has supported Montgomery Fire and Rescue nonstop. There's a lot of training involved, a lot of out-of-town training. Director never hesitate to make sure we receive that training. He's on the job each and every day asking what can he do to make this better. And he has supported us 110%. Now, like Mayor Strange said 5-6 years ago, I never met anyone with such energy as Mayor Strange. He came in, what can we do? And we started throwing out different things, and the ideal of one day maybe being a Class 1 fire department. And without hesitation, he bought equipment, record management system that we needed. He purchased the thing that we needed to get to this day. And a lot of this credit, if not all of this credit, should go to our mayor for having a vision and stepping out there and giving us what we need to make this fire department in this city a Class 1 city and fire department. So thank you.
He will get a good evaluation when the time comes. He talked about the partnership. Larry Fisher has led that organization. You cannot be a world-class organization. You cannot be ISO1. You can't even be ISO2 if you don't answer the calls when they come in. 99.9% of the time, we answer them within the allotted time frame. ISO even gives you 1 or 2 percentage points, but we beat those. Larry Fisher is a man of very few words, so he's not going to speak this morning. All he's going to say is, 911, what is your emergency? Because that's the operative statement, and then we go from there. But we could not do this without the relationship with water, simply because that's what, in large instances, helps us put the fire out. A number of years ago, maybe in the 30s, the city of Montgomery sold the Montgomery Water and Sewer Board to a private equity group. And today, they stay as a separate organization. But we are locked at the hip. They are as if they are part of the city. Just like I have to negotiate with department heads over certain things, I got to negotiate with Buddy and with Richard Hanna. Richard Hanna has been at the helm of this organization for so many years. Buddy is the general manager, and he's been there about the same amount of time. But it's because of the dedication and the commitment that they've made to expansion in our community and doing the things that we need to be able to provide safe neighborhoods. We owe them a debt of gratitude because they are part and parcel of this evaluation as well. Buddy Morgan, our general manager.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, I laughingly teased with Chief Jordan. I looked across the street and we've got a busted water main over there. And I said, well, y'all over there practicing this morning or what? You know, that's one of the standing jokes we have with them about the guy on the back of the truck is the first trainee out of the school, and he's got that wrench and he's ordered to get water to that truck. Well, he's going to get it there as fast as he can. And sometimes we have a hammer and it creates a problem. But if it were my house, I'd be proud he was on that truck and he was that zealous to get it there. You know, I just got back from New York taking the grandchildren's up there, and I told the mayor and Chief Jordan that I watched the New York Fire Department. They got a lot of praise and glory for 9/11. But I watched them and I watched their equipment. I didn't see any fat firemen in Montgomery, but I saw a lot up there. I saw some ragtag equipment. I don't see ragtag equipment here. You know, this ISO rating is something to be very proud of. It not only recognizes what money has been spent, but the training that goes into it. If you go down South North Court Street and you go by the training institute down there, I dare say any of us could go through that and survive. It's a special person that wants to run into a burning building, and we're a small part of it. We have a great board that has been willing to spend the money to redo the mains and do the things we need to do to keep water in service. Without us, they are just a red truck, and so it takes a real partnership. People don't understand that there's 1,600 miles of water main that we have to maintain in this area. There's 10,000 fire hydrants that have to be visited twice every year, and by the time you get through there, and Chief alluded to the record keeping, we have to keep records on everything, and ISO comes and looks at all those records, look at the flows and all the water that was available. And so it's been a real partnership, and I'm proud to say that we're part of it. I'm even prouder to say that we have a fire department that's second to none I've ever seen. So congratulations.
Let me say it one more time. Montgomery, Alabama, ISO rating is #1. Never, ever has there been a #1 in Alabama. And we join the top 2% of all fire departments in the entire United States. The fire department is goal-oriented. I spoke about the other goal that 5 or 6 years ago we started thinking about, was that combat challenge, and the fact that all 25 or so of our stations had participants in the regional combat challenge we had here 3 months ago. Then our blue team went on to the nationals in Tyler, and we were successful there. Went on to the world, which was in Phoenix, Arizona, and legend is that we broke the world record and we finished #1, and we are now the world champions. But that got us thinking, why not try for the world championship fire combat challenge right here in Montgomery, Alabama? Why not? They come from all over the world. One of the requests was a 747 to come from Europe to bring the teams to wherever the world championship is going to be. And so, as a mayor, you say, who can make this happen? Well, obviously, Milford Jordan has to be involved in it. Obviously, Chris Murphy, who you'll hear from in a minute, has to be involved in this. But you go to the get-it-done person as it comes to tourism, economic development, convention, and visitor affairs, and that's Dawn Hathcock, who took the mantle, who steered the ship, who prepared the presentation, and she has something to tell you. Dawn?
Thank you, Mayor. We are very excited to announce that in 2015, October 19th through the 25th, Montgomery, Alabama will be the host city for the World Firefighter Combat Challenge. It was very interesting. When we met with Dr. Davis, who is the director, we met with him when he first got here for the regional competition in October. And the mayor, myself, Chief Jordan, Chief Petrie, Chief Bellinger, Director Murphy, we all sat down with him, and we walked out of there and we weren't real sure we had a chance. He had some things that he wanted to look at, and as the weekend went on, we all talked to him individually at different times, and by the time he left, he was ready to sign to come to Montgomery. But we wanted to go out to Arizona and see just what they did to make it so special. So a group of us went out, and we know that we can do it bigger and better here in Montgomery, Alabama, and we're so proud. And it didn't hurt that our team not only won but set the world record not once but twice while we were there. So we're very proud, and we appreciate everything the fire department and public safety does for us. Thank you.
What was the dates again?
October 19th through the 25th.
And what we said the economic impact would be to us?
$650,000.
That's direct.
Yes.
And then the other would be in the $2 million range.
Yes.
So Dawn, thank you for that. In commemoration and celebration, to thank our entire department as well as our communications organization, we've asked Dreamland if they would to feed all of our fire and communications individuals, and they are going to do that. And the reason that we're not inside is it's set up for the luncheon. You have to, if you're going to do 3 shifts, you got to do it 3 different times. And so all of our firefighters beginning today, all of our communications people beginning today in 3 shifts will be fed. And it's just but a small way that we can say thank you for the job that has been done. Public safety is an organization that represents half of our entire city. It represents half of our budget. It represents half of our personnel. 4 years ago, we asked Chris Murphy with impeccable credentials to come and to establish that organization, and he has been the helm for that period of time. And I know he joins me in expressing his gratitude and his pride, not only for the fire, but also police, because fire and police go hand in hand. Good fire and good police cannot be separated. So with that, Chris, if you would come and wrap this up and bring your message.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It is such an exciting day today to be able to announce this kind of thing. But really, Chief Jordan, today is only a culmination of the fact that something that we in Montgomery knew all along. We just have 2 different outside agencies who have confirmed that we truly are #1, significantly that we're #1 in this ISO rating, and then that we're #1 world champions is just, again, confirmation for what we in this community already know. I can't thank everybody enough, because it is a partnership, as the mayor said. The police play off the fire department. The fire department plays off the police. Nothing happens without communication. EMA is in there to kind of help train us and guide us when we have an emergency. It is a joint effort, and that partnership extends to the Waterworks Board. Richard and Buddy, thank you so much. Everybody contributes. It is not a singular thing. But I do have to recognize Chief Jordan, because he has been that driving force, and he and his staff have never let this go. But Chief, come up here just a minute, because I want everybody to note that he also doesn't take time, very much time at all. Just a couple of days before he already has the ISO Class 1 ribbon on his uniform. So everybody will start wearing that, because we are so proud of that. Not only that we got a 1, but one nobody else in Alabama has ever gotten. I mean, how do you beat that? It just, again, confirms the support we've had from the mayor all the way down to the clerical. Everybody in between really did contribute to that, and we appreciate the partnership, and it is our pleasure and honor to serve the citizens and the businesses of this community in this special way. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Bifford Jordan's a big Alabama fan. Chris Murphy's a big Auburn fan. What I'm going to say is this is just as good as Alabama-Auburn winning the national championship. So congratulations to you guys. I hope that you'll take individual interviews with Bifford Jordan. He and his organization deserve it.
Like the mayor said, I cheer for the University of Alabama, and when you have a big win, like the Iron Bowl, you just jump up and cheer. Well, magnify that by 10, because this represents our fire department in our city. So I was so proud to claim that 1 for our city and our fire department. Well, about 6 years ago, when Mayor Strange came in, he came to me and asked me about some of the things I needed to make our department a better department. We talked about this station here. This station allows our department to put multiple different pieces of apparatuses in this station. So we got that accomplished this past January. There was a New World record management software that we needed, which cost a great deal, and he allowed us to purchase those things. And there were some trucks that needed to be replaced, and Mayor Strange supported us in replacing those trucks. And when we replaced those trucks, we was able to recondition other trucks and put different units in services, like our EMS services. I think we put in maybe 2 or 3 different units, which reduced our response time. So response time is one of the biggest things inside of this Class 1 rating, is having a really good response time. Our response time is right on the national recommended by NFPA, which is about 4 minutes on average for our entire fire department. When I look back at, I came up under Chief Robert Wayne Greer, and Chief Greer was moving towards this direction. Matter of fact, Chief Greer was responsible for the first 2 in 1986-87. Chief McKee, we maintained, and we scored high in the year 2000. And what I've done, my staff and the members of this department today has done, is build off of what they kind of put down as a foundation. So we kind of joined hands and said, hey, we achieved a 1 through these, me being the 3rd chief, we achieved the 1 together.
Well, it's a huge deal. It's a huge deal for bragging rights. It's a huge deal of a goal accomplished, but it's also a big deal for the citizens of Montgomery, particularly our businesses and those that own residences and live, in rented facilities. Because at the end of the day, going from a 3 to a 1, we have been a 2, but most cities around are 3. That's almost a 5% savings on your insurance. And whether it's a $500,000 or $100,000 house, or go to the likes of the Reams and the Hyundais of the world that are several $100 million, that really does begin to add up in savings. And it is that degree of difference in economic development for cost of doing business in your community. So we're extremely proud of it. It wasn't done in a vacuum. Certainly the fire department and Chief Richard Jordan have a lot to do with it, but it's a partnership with our communications organization, who really are the first contact getting to the information to the fire department, and then to go to the response and to be able to have a water supply in the right spot at the right pressure to be able to do that. So it is a great partnership between communications, fire, and the Montgomery Water Board. There's never been a 1 in the state of Alabama, so we're the only one in the history of this rating. Obviously, having stations that are in the right spot, the one we're at today, Fire Station 9, moved from a double wide across the street, able to get more suppression, more emergency management, emergency technicians in this station were a big thing. Having big equipment like this, ladder trucks, and having rescue vehicles, all of that counts points, but it's the training and the manpower necessary to man these things. All of those go together in that ISO rating. There's a maximum of 105 points. Anything over a 90 would get you to the ISO 1. I think we were 93, 94, up from about 86 when we were ISO 2. Commitment is probably the operative word. There are a lot of people that have the money, have the equipment, have the locations, but you've got to take the time to really document and really do that degree of difference to what it takes to be a world championship. We just talked about Alabama and Auburn. I mean, this is a world championship of ISO ratings to be able to get the 1.